This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. What I'm looking at is the 10th episode of Love, Death, and Robots, titled Shapeshifters, which for my money is probably the most disappointing episode of the series thus far. Keep in mind, it's not bad. It resides firmly in the uncanny valley though. Why is that? Because it deals for the most part with people, and CGI people look weird and oftentimes a little freaky. Like there's one character in this episode who looks like a puppet at certain points. It's really odd. It's not off-putting, but you know it. It's obviously CGI, which is interesting because certain things look really good. Environments, houses, explosions, they come off really well. People, not so much. Very odd, very jerky looking at times. It doesn't quite work that well, but I'm willing to let that go if you got a story that can engage me. And this has the barest hint of a story, in that that's not fair. It actually does have a story, but the story is so basic, so surface level, that it makes it barely worth the time. Okay, in a nutshell, you have werewolves in the army, and the army knows they're werewolves. This is a fascinating idea, but nothing is made of it. There are some soldiers that don't like the werewolves. Okay, so there's a little friction. This could have been the starting off point for an allegory about race, about women in the military, homosexuals in the military. There are all sorts of issues this could have tackled with the lycanthropy as an allegory for it. Nope, doesn't really do that. Instead, again, people in the army don't like the werewolves. There are werewolves on the other side fighting for them. Werewolves get together, they fight. I mean, the werewolf effects look really good. In fact, the werewolves look better than the humans, which is weird. But nonetheless, they do. They look really great, nice gory fights, but it's such a wasted opportunity. Shapeshifters is not a bad story. Let's be clear. Shapeshifters is a bare bones story. It's the minimal when so much more should have been given. The dump, I can understand. You have a guy sitting in a dump. That's literally where the story takes place and what a lot of it's about. This is a person in the military who's a werewolf in an environment where the military is pretty accepting of werewolves on the whole. Some don't like it, but hey, you're in the military as a werewolf. There are so many stories this could have been mined for, and they don't, which makes it a bit of a waste, unfortunately. So, as a result, Shapeshifters is a visually gorgeous trip into the uncanny valley that so wastes such potential in terms of storytelling. This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. Peace. And I should mention, I didn't read the story that Shapeshifters is based on. Then again, I also didn't read the story that Beyond the Aquila Rift is based on. But my answer to that is, so what? One should not have to read the story that these books are based on to understand them. A commenter to one of my videos brought the point to my attention, and he's right. If you do read the story, you're going to get more insights into these shorts, into what they perhaps were meant to be. But that's not a fair metric. As I said, if you had not read these stories before, all you have is what they give you. And in the instance of Aquila Drift and now Shapeshifters, they just don't give you much. This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. Peace.